I'm Michela Di Carlo. I'm the founder and editor, chief editor of CrunchyTales.com, the first illustrated online magazine for sassy women over 40. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first CrunchyTales webinar. And we are so excited because joining us today is the fabulous Wellbeing whisperer and the Crunchy expert and TEDx speaker, Nuthan Manohar. Hi, Nuthan.
Hello. Hi, Michela. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, it's our pleasure. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today and for taking your time. But first of all, let me say a huge thank you to the one who made this happen, Monica Bevacqua, the founder of My Ideal Traveling. Hi, Monica. I'm sure you are there. And thank you so much for making this lovely connection. And we love Nuthan, and we are sure we can work with her and keep doing wonderful things together. Nuthan, today we will talk about a very interesting topic, finding purpose in midlife. As you know, midlife is quite, an unraveling time. But please, we would love to hear from you. So leave a comment or any question you would like Nuthan to answer, and we will back to you. But I would suggest you to grab a cup of tea or coffee, a notebook and a pen, and enjoy this wonderful chat and webinar with Nuthan Manohar. Hi, Monica, just seen you there. Hi, hello. And even Maria Leonard Olsen. So Maria is from the States, Washington, D.C., while Monica is following us from Switzerland. Wow, I love these connections. Nuthan, the audience is all for you. See you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Ciao. Thank you. So, just wanted to check with you, where are you coming in from? Can I get a hi if you're coming in from India? Could I know how many of you are coming in from UK? How many of you are coming in from Italy, from Switzerland? Would love to know where you're coming in from. And in case I look away, it's not because of, I'm looking for something else. It's just that the comments that you would be sending me would be coming right there. All right, so feel free to jump in, feel free to keep messaging me about what you're going through and how you are enjoying this. And so please do let me know where you are from. That would kind of give me a good idea to, set the context on. So, okay. Hi, Potty. Okay, I'm seeing Hannah from Rome. Okay, I can see all the messages coming in. So that's really nice. Okay, in case I do miss out anything, we would have Michela coming in and telling me what I have missed out, so that I can definitely be in touch with you. So here is the thing. We decided to do the session on purpose, but the fact is, I'm not a fan of the word purpose, because whenever I think of the word purpose, it's either too managerial or it's about management, it's physics, it's engineering, because purpose has something connected to functionality. And it means that there has to be some specific functionality or it doesn't have, the zing to it. The other word that I really like is meaning. So rather than going for purpose, maybe this whole conversation would be all about meaning. Because meaning, as vague as it can be, it's something that really connects from inside. And the fact is, whether you use the word purpose or whether you use the word meaning, if it makes sense to you deep inside, that's what we want. All right. So would love to know from you on the comments section as to, would you like to use the word purpose or would you like to use the word meaning? I would be using it interchangeably, because a lot of research that I want to share with you would be either using the word purpose or would be using the word meaning. That's one of the things when we come to talk about, words like these, that we cannot kind of fixate on just one word. We might have to go with many words to really connect deeply with us. So I'm here today with the purpose of helping you find certain frameworks which might give you either purpose or meaning in life. Hope that makes sense. So I am seeing, okay, hi, Christina. Hi, Pam. So would love to know whether you like to use the word purpose or whether you would like to use the word meaning, right? So here is the thing, okay? I would really love it if you could take a pen and a paper. Even I would be scribbling away so that we can make this an hour where we really get to think, we really get to explore, because just when you are listening to me, it's just one part of your brain that works. But when you write, there's a lot more that happens. Okay, I specifically am not a fan of PPTs because that to me kind of takes you away, takes me away. Instead, if we can write down, there would be things that, that might make a lot of difference to some of us. All right. So I hope you grabbed your pen and paper and want you to think about this. We may not know our purpose or our meaning, it doesn't matter. But have you met a person in life who you felt has found meaning, has found purpose? What are the words or what are the specific traits about them that gives you a feeling that they have found purpose or meaning? So please take time and think about it. Have you met someone who has found maybe purpose or meaning? And why is it that you feel they have that? I'm going to start giving out words. Maybe it makes sense to you, maybe not. Because when I close my eyes and think of someone with purpose, I'm actually connecting back to an aunt of mine. She was a nun in a convent, and she had this radiance about her. She had this energy about her. Every day she would be up and doing things. There was so much of energy. She had a direction about her. So no matter what situation comes across, you know that she would head to the direction she wanted to go into. Sometimes she's slow, sometimes she can be really fast, but there was something about a direction she was headed to. She had very clear sense of beliefs, core beliefs that were very personal to her, which she would stand by, which she would defend if needed. Okay, so I hope these are words that are making sense to you. Would love to know in the comment section which are the other words that come to your mind. So take few seconds, think of someone whom you think has purpose or meaning in life, and what is it about them that makes them so different, so inspiring. So let me just take a look. All right. I can see that you can spot on. All right. Okay. So these are the words that come into my mind when I use these, when I use the term purpose as well as when I use the word meaning in life. And that's something that had greatly attracted me. See, the fact is that I had many things going on in my life. It was doing very well. I think by the time I was 28, I was managing around 11 countries across Asia Pacific. Most people who were reporting in or who I was associating with were much older than me. So it kind of felt really good because work-wise, I was doing really well. But then somewhere along that line, personal life just fell apart. It was a complete surprise, a complete shock, and it just fell apart. And I remember my entire health taking like a nosedive. Suddenly, I had to deal with depression, I had to deal with anxiety, I had to deal with suicidal tendencies. I had to deal with everything which I never ever thought would ever happen to me. And that's somewhere the point where I realized that maybe I don't really have an anchor. maybe there is nothing that I was really looking forward to or a direction that I was headed to. And because of which, when something fell apart, I just completely disintegrated. So that's where this entire journey of me met me began. I started searching for purpose and meaning. I started trying to look at how does my own behavior affect the life that I would get to live. And therefore, I went on to study yoga. I did a master's in yoga. I did many yoga teachers training. I started teaching in Hong Kong. I went on to teach across Southeast Asia. 2013, I moved back to Kerala, to my hometown, and I started teaching here, started researching. And when it came to, working here, in some ways, it was such a blessing because the part of the world that I belong to, mental disturbances, if I may put it that way, psychiatric disorders, suicidal tendencies, depression, bipolar disorder, the numbers were globally really, really high. And here I was with a little yoga studio, primarily trying to teach weight loss, but my real interest was to see how I could in some way help these men and women find happiness, find purpose, find meaning, and be able to transcend the situation they've been going through. So in 7 long years of working in Kerala, it's been a blessing to be able to touch so many lives. And last year, I got a chance to start working and really push my work ahead because, I could actually start taking my work to Europe where there was a lot more interest in what I do. So this is kind of just to give you a background of how I started, looking into things. So when I talk to you about purpose and meaning, I come from a place where there was no meaning, there was no purpose, but there were lots of things I had, ticked off in terms of a good career, in terms of money, all that, but there was no anchor. And now recently I have turned 40 and I think that this is really the most transformative period of life. This is the period of life where I completely feel free, because you might have experienced this, maybe the first part of life, maybe till we hit midlife. I would say that what motivates us is extrinsic. For instance, we are worried about, do we get our education right? Do we get the job right? Do we have the right social circle? Do we have the right house? Do we get to go to the right places? Do we get to wear the right clothes? Are we seen in the right? So everything is external. But somewhere along the line, we realize, or the part of the brain that is related to helping us understand what we are actually starts to turn on. And that's when we realize that many things that we were dependent on doesn't really make sense, that we need something which is more internal, which is more meaningful, which makes us want to wake up in the morning and feel alive. And that's where we are here. All right. So I'm just going to keep checking on the text if there anything has come in. Okay. So feel free to constantly, text me about what you feel. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Okay. Because the idea is not just give you one pattern. The idea is to give you a whole lot of patterns from which you can connect to and come out. So now I would ask you to take your book out. Okay. Write down about what is it about people who have purpose. Okay, what is it about people who have purpose? What are the things that is going on for them according to you? The second part that I want you to think about is, are there benefits that you would have in the years ahead if you have a purpose? So that's where I want to bring in some of the research practices and research findings. So we have a medical research by Alan Rosensky, where it was found that people who had a sense of purpose, they had 20% better chances of living. That means you actually get not to die. Now, 20% is a huge number, because if you were not smoking, if you were exercising, if you were eating healthy, you will still not get 20%. That means a sense of purpose is a lot more important for you in the years to come. Okay, so if you can combine that with a healthy lifestyle, healthy diet, exercise, all that, your quality of life ahead is going to greatly improve. Second study was by University of Colorado. It was found that people who had a sense of purpose, their coping skills were much better. Maybe you would have experienced this as well. For instance, I mean, your body is not feeling that good, but you have a major event that you really look forward to in life is coming up. For instance, it could be maybe something like your child's graduation, maybe their engagement, maybe their marriage, maybe your marriage, whatever it is. It is something that really calls to you. You feel deeply connected, and you would find that the pain has almost disappeared. You're there, ready for it. So likewise, for a few minutes or for a few part or for a bit of a phase, if you feel that a purpose or a reason to get up, you actually feel better. It was found that those who had arthritis, when they had a sense of purpose, their pains reduced, their inflammation reduced. So there is a huge amount of benefit physically that you would have if you have a sense of purpose. Likewise, University of Florida, okay, had found out that if you have a meaningful life, a life that you want to wake up to, your stress levels are much lower, your resilience level is much better. Now, if your stress levels are much lower in a time like this, your immunity is much better. I hope you've heard about the study, which basically said that, if your stress levels are lower and if you get a vaccine, the response to vaccine is much, much better than if you were stressed out. Okay, so anything even external like a vaccine going into your body depends on whether you are stressed out or not. And that level of stress depends on whether you feel that your day is meaningful or not. So I'm kind of building up on this whole sense of purpose, whole sense of meaning. I hope I'm not freaking you out, okay, because trust me, it's not that complicated. Okay, so I just want to take you through one more study. Okay, this was a study by Rush Alzheimer's Disease Center. Okay, they found that incidence of Alzheimer's went down by 52% when you have a sense of purpose or when you have a sense of meaning in life. I remember going through this video, documentary, which was about nuns in USA, and they had dedicated their body, that means after they die, their cadaver would be sent off for research. Now, most of these nuns, they lived up to 90. And what was found is that when their cadaver was opened and when they peered into their brain, many of them had full-blown symptoms of Alzheimer's. Their brains were damaged, but their quality of life had not changed because many of these nuns were working with children. They were constantly learning. They had things to do. They had reasons to wake up and they had reasons to smile. So if that's something, that, how you decide your day will be can have an impact on your health, your brain, even if your brain is thoroughly damaged. So these are thoughts I want to take you through. Okay, so I think that's a very, very good case to have purpose. So if you have friends, do tell them about this as to why this could be how, your life ahead becomes much more pleasurable. Pleasurable, that brings us to an interesting word. Okay, so in the ancient Greek system, there was a lot of interest on happiness. And it was Aristotle, he kind of, decided that, or defined that, happiness is not just one type. There are different kinds of happiness. For instance, there is eudaimonia. This is the happiness that you get when you get a nice dress. Okay, maybe when you go buy something that you like. Maybe when you, get complimented, when sometimes when you get a lot of likes, all those little fleeting things, okay, fleeting things that give you pleasure. Okay, that's hedonia. But the other side of it is eudaimonia. Okay, he spoke about eudaimonia, which is a long-lasting kind of happiness. Okay, it's not the fleeting type. and it is the type which makes life flourishing. Okay, so one is fleeting and the other makes your life to flourish. Okay, it's as simple as that. Tons of studies have gone into it, and one of my favorite researcher on it is Robert Bilder. He went on to study what does it mean in the brain. Okay, so if you have, say, hedonia, okay, it's specific parts of the brain that light up. For instance, a damn good looking guy hits on you, okay, that you might feel lust. Invariably, that's hedonia. But when you have a companion and you feel love, when you feel love for your child, when you feel love for your sibling, that's eudaimonia. Okay, I hope that's made it really, really clear. And Robert Bilder, he kind of spoke about three things that kind of defined. He spoke about core belief. He spoke about what are, your beliefs that you kind of, hold dear. What are the principles that you work with? What makes, you special? What are the values? All those things. The second part of it is, what are the things you would put an effort into? Okay, what do you find your time worth investing into? Okay, and the third part is, do you have a feeling of direction in life? With just these three, you would decide whether you have eudaimonia or not. So it's not really about, do I make that $1 billion? Do I make that $1 million? Do I make that, client deal? It's not about that. It is not about how many followers do I make, how many people watch my video. It's more about just these three things. Do you feel a sense of direction? Do you have something worth investing your time into, where you want to put your effort into? And what are your core beliefs? Are there things that you want to hold dear close to you? Okay, just these three things. So we kind of covered about extrinsic, we covered about intrinsic, hedonia as well as eudaimonia. Few just big terms. And now I want you to go through different frameworks, because what I realized is that, sometimes I work with CEOs, their concept of purpose is very different from when I work with homemakers. When I work with a grandmother, okay, somebody maybe, not a grandmother, let's say somebody who is about 90, okay, their sense of purpose and meaning is completely different from what is it for a student. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is kind of give you different formats. You might find one that calls on to you. Okay, so let me just quickly take a look at time. Okay, so I'm going to take you through one of my favorite ones. I think all of us have heard about it by now. It's become really famous recently, and it is the Japanese term Ikigai. Okay, if you haven't heard about it, please do check it out. It's Ikigai, Ikigai. Okay, so Michaela, if you are there, maybe you can just put it on the comment section, Ikigai. Okay, Ikigai it's one of my favorite words, and the reason I found it is because I was interested in societies that live really long. So this was a study by Dan Nuthan about blue zones, and one of the communities that he found lived really long, longevity, good, long, healthy, happy life was Okinawa. And the word that set them apart was Ikigai. Okay, so Ikigai is all about finding things you love. Okay, so think about it. So maybe just write about Ikigai. What are the things that you love? What are the things that you're trained in? What are the things that you're good at? So that's the second thing. Are you trained in something? Are you good at something? Okay, you might love your grandchild, but are you trained? Are you good at it? Okay, so what are you trained at? Okay, what could you possibly get paid for? Is there a commercial transaction for it? That means people are willing to come to you for it. Because at the end of the day, it has to be sustainable. And the fourth one is, does the world need it? If you can find something that fits into all these four, you have your Ikigai. When I had my job in brand consulting, The fact was, I loved it. I loved looking into behavior. I loved working in strategy. I loved working in research. For me to be able to understand what will work in a country, what will work in a community, what kind of design was fascinating. I could go on and on with it. I loved it. I got paid for it. And I was trained very well at it. But did the world need it? That was the big difference. When I found well-being, I found a calling because the world needed it. So now when I got something which has got all these four, life really changed. Okay, maybe my bank balance is not what it would have been. Maybe the kind of travels I get to do, the clothes I get to wear is not what it would have been. But there is a sense of joy. And the fact is, the day that I don't teach, I do feel something is missing in life. And I really hope for everyone out there, you find something which makes a hell of a difference to your day. So this is the Japanese system, okay? So Ikigai, possibly this is the framework that you would love, okay? The second framework that I want to connect you to is flow. This is by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. You would want to just search flow. He's one of the fathers of positive psychology. And he speaks about just two things, okay? It's about skill and challenge. Now think about it, okay? You have low skill, you have high skill. You have low challenge and you have high challenge. Now, if I give you something you're not skilled at and it's not challenging, for instance, if I ask you to, get into your laptop and just put 1, 2, 3, 4 to a million, it doesn't require a skill. It's not challenging. You are going to get bored. You're going to get frustrated. You just want to leave it, right? So low skill and low challenge. But somewhere higher up, okay, higher level of skill and higher level of challenge. Think about maybe if you're a musician and you love to play the violin, okay, you're getting skilled at it, and every time you play, you can actually increase the challenge. If you are into yoga, every time, you would be good at some things, but every day there would be something that's challenging. So what would happen is you might actually forget time. You might forget to eat. You might forget everything else in the world. You might forget the pain you're going through. You will go into a flow state and you would experience this really good high where, the universe seems to stop and you can continue on and on with it. Now, the third case is your skill is high, but your challenge level is really high. For instance, you're good at it, but it's insurmountable. For instance, you love hiking, you love trekking, but then suddenly you're asked to climb Mount Everest. It could kill you. You will get stressed out. So from boredom, you can go to a state of flow to a state of highly stressed out and burnt out. The idea is finding that midpoint when you actually can find your skill and find your challenge. Okay. So somewhere there. So this is the second format that I want you to think about. Possibly this is where your connection is. Now, this is being found extremely helpful for those who might have a really difficult situation going on. Okay, maybe you are going through maybe something painful in life. Maybe you're going through a physical ailment, something difficult, or maybe situation is not getting better. But if you can every day go into something that you're skilled at and something that gives you a good set of challenge, you are going to be able to transcend the problems. Okay, it's based on studies of Epictetus, it is based on Marcus Aurelius, it is based on Viktor Frankl. It's all about finding your meaning. And the more you go into it, the better and complete blessing you will turn out to be. Okay, and many times I have felt that state of flow. I'm sure you would have felt that state of flow as well. Okay, in certain points of life. So that's the second part. The third one is something that I really, really love. It's a Scandinavian term, possibly you're quite familiar with it. Hygge. It's about creating warmth. What is coziness for you? So maybe the life ahead doesn't have to be difficult, doesn't have to be like the flow where you're constantly challenging yourself. It could be about how can I make my life a bit more cozy. It's not about that expensive car. It's more about the cozy, comfortable feeling in your living room. Okay, so how can you create that? Possibly that's the format that might call on to you. The other one that I like is Lagom, which is all about moderation, which is all about not too much, not too less. Possibly in your earlier life, if you've been someone who has constantly pushed yourself to go higher and higher and higher, maybe it's time to figure out whether happiness and meaning and purpose can be found when you go not too much, not too less. All right? And that brings us to Ubuntu, the beautiful African concept, which is all about humanity, about society, about your clan, about the people around you, about your family, because the idea is if they are happy, I'm happy. Okay, if they are doing well, if they are flourishing, I'm flourishing. So what is good for them is good for me. Possibly that's the calling for you. Okay, that brings me to the final one, which is about the Indian system, chaturvitha purusharta. Chatur means four. Okay, so think about it. So here is where I really, really want you to take your notebook, because there's a good chance that this is the one that you might resonate with. Because chaturvitha purushartas, I feel, is pretty comprehensive in the sense it is not about always sticking to just one thing. It is about being able to dance with whatever life brings. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about chaturvitha purusharta. Okay, so take your notebook and pen and make a square. Okay, make a fairly big square, but make sure that there is enough space for you to write on every corner. Okay, so make a square. On the top left of your square, okay, top left of your square, write duty. Because all of us, end of the day, do have a duty. We have a duty to ourselves. We might have a duty to our family. We might have a duty to society. We might have a duty to possibly wear a mask when we step out. So duty, so what are our duties? So top left, okay, corner, put on that corner, put the word duty, all right? Top left is duty and top right is resource. So duty, the Indian word for it is dharma. Okay, dharma, artha, kama, moksha is a very spiritual term. Very, has a much deeper meaning than just duty. Okay, but for our sake, for simplicity's sake, we're just going to stick to duty. Okay, so duty, and on the right, on the top right-hand corner, we will go with the word resource. Resource can be money. Resource can be your network. Resource can be things that you choose to learn. Resource can be things that you let go. Okay, so a lot of things can be your resource. It is going to help you do things in this world. Okay, so all the resources. We're going to go write them a bit later, but just to give you an idea of what that resource is. Now, let's go to the bottom. Okay, on the left, you have karma, which is essentially your desire. In the years to come, in the months to come, in the weeks to come, in the days to come, your desires. What does your heart want? Okay, and on the right bottom corner, okay, is liberation, freedom. What sets your mind free? Right? So we have duty, we have resources, we have desires, and we have what is known as freedom. Okay, what sets your mind free? Right? Now, in a typical day on a very balanced day, you are at the center of the square, where you have duties to perform, where you have your pursuit of resources, where you have your pleasures, where you try to indulge yourself, maybe the chocolate cake, and where you try to free your mind. Okay, now go ahead, take time to write it down. Okay, what are the things that come? Maybe just 3 things in terms of duty. What are the duties that you can think of? What are the resources that you're working on right now? Maybe few of us are studying a new course. Maybe we are upskilling. Maybe we are getting more clients. Maybe we learn to sell. Maybe we're learning a new language. Things that maybe we're learning to bake. Okay, things that will help us get things done in this world. Then comes your desires. Do you want that holiday? Okay, that reminds me of Monica. Okay, do you want to go for that beautiful vacation, possibly in a tropical country, enjoy the beautiful sun? Is that something that you desire? Okay, so write that down. What are your desires? Okay, maybe you want to lose weight. Maybe you want to eat that cake. Maybe you want to buy that dress. Maybe you want that jewelry. What makes your heart jump? Okay, whatever it could be. It could be something that you want to gift your child. Maybe you want to gift your family. All those desires that make your heart feel really nice. And the 4th is, what about setting your mind free? Because throughout the day, there is a chance we get anxious, we get stressed out. What sets your mind free? It could be yoga, it could be mindfulness, it could be dancing, it could be listening to music, it could be singing. What sets you free from all this? Those moments where you don't feel duty bound, where you don't feel you have a number or a thing to achieve, where you are not doing it because your heart desires, because that's a moment where you're just being. Maybe it's our ability to look at a sunset, something that sets our mind free, helps it rest, helps us sleep better. Okay, so these are the 4 things. Now, in the Indian system, it clearly helps you understand that you're never going to be staying in that center of the square. Suppose your child, your spouse, your partner, somebody in your family needs you, is not well. You might have to look into what is your duty. You may not be able to go do that meeting. Maybe you might have to spend less time in whatever resources that you're trying to build. Okay, maybe you might have to forego that chocolate cake. Maybe you might have to forego that, lovely, holiday. Okay, but it's your duty that's called you, so you go there. But, okay, sometimes you have this absolutely important meeting that has come. You can't say, oh no, I need to go meditate right now. You're like, okay, I need to take care of that. Sometimes you just have to go buy that beautiful dress or gift that, something to someone special to you, or have that beautiful evening with someone who makes all your dreams come true. Maybe have that. Okay, that moment, that time, you're not going to be, looking at your phone as to what is happening in your work life, what is happening in your study life, and things like that. You're going to let go and you're going to indulge. Okay, likewise, there might be moments where you say, okay, I'm going to pray now, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to shut everything off. So you are able to dance with all these 4. It's never ever about just sticking to one. But the idea is that as you proceed in life, you kind of get an idea as to where is it that you want to go, the direction we were speaking about. So can you find that direction? Maybe it is all about your future. basis. You finished with your duties, you have taken care of children, you have taken care of the family. Now you just want to indulge your desires. Maybe that's where you need to go. No judgments. Okay. It is called karma. It's a beautiful word. Okay. Karma, you go indulge yourself. Maybe that's what next few years, months are all about. Maybe it's not that. Maybe you decided now is the time I'm going to go do my PhD. Then you go ahead and work on your resources. Or maybe you realize that none of this makes sense. I need to serve the world. And that's where I find my freedom. Okay, that's what sets my mind free. Then you go into that. Maybe you would find many finding solace in religion, in spirituality, in meditation, in service. Possibly that's the calling. According to the Indian system, your life is kind of divided into segments. For instance, when you're young, it's all about studies. When later on you're supposed to fulfill your desires, and after midlife and henceforth, you actually focus on what liberates your mind, because you've done with everything and now you try to liberate. So it's a beautiful system. But then I think all of us have this ability to go any direction that calls us. Okay. Now comes the question, what if we don't know what really calls us? And that's what we're going to do today. Okay. If you haven't read the article, it's in Manohar and CrunchyTales have published it. It's a journaling method. Please definitely go through it again. And Manohar might share it once again so that you can also go through it. We are going to go about how we do that. Okay. So it's a journaling process. Okay, when I sat down to think about, if I do not know how purpose, and based on various women particularly, I've helped them find their purpose. I've devised this method where it will take you 1 month, and all you need to do is write every day for 1 month in a little paper. Okay, but there is a method to it. Okay. So what we do every Monday, okay, so we're going to do it with the week, okay. Every Mondays you go through what are your patterns in life, possibly from childhood. People have told you have a beautiful voice. In my case, there has been a pattern which I realized much later, is that every teacher and every student and every patient told me that they relax easily and they fall asleep well. So, and it's only when I realized one of my audios on sleep crossed 20,000 hours of sleeping that I realized that actually is something that I should really focus on. Okay, because I have this ability, or rather the superpower, to help people fall asleep. So likewise, if there is something that has over and over again come to you and you have not done much about it, maybe it's time. So think about it, maybe in your schooling, maybe in your college, maybe at work, maybe at friends, maybe your family have over and over told you that you are really, really good at something. Now is the time to start looking into it. The other part of it, maybe not all of us have had a beautiful life. I have worked with women, and in my own case itself, faced a lot of abuse. And possibly the negative pattern, okay, the negative pattern that you have gone through, possibly that could actually trigger what your purpose is. I have worked with girls, women who have been sexually abused, and the abuse was a pattern. But then eventually they were able to turn that around and go help other women, other girls prevent abuse. Okay, so that's something that you could look at. Maybe you've been bullied. Okay, maybe you have been abused. Maybe over and over again people belittled you. Okay, possibly that could be the thing that you need to learn. That's the place where you need to really, really grow strong and be able to show light, not just for yourself, for others. That could be your salvation. Your pain could be your salvation. Maybe your broken heart could be your salvation. Maybe the pain that you felt with your children, with your spouse, with your partners, all that could be the turning point. Okay, so Mondays is all about patterns. Look at the positive patterns, look at the painful patterns, okay, and check, is there something there? So go ahead and write. The second, that is Tuesday. Tuesday, we go into, because by the time you have hit midlife, I would believe that we now know one thing for sure. We know what we don't like. And thankfully, we don't have to go there. Possibly we have enough education, we have enough resources so that we don't have to do the things that we don't want to. We could maybe hire somebody for it. So the things that you don't like, you dislike, write that. Because when it comes to your purpose, when it comes to your meaning, you do not want to get confused, and you do not want to do those things. I don't recommend this if you are younger, because when you're younger, there are many things you don't like. Okay, and most often that just means that you have, because for instance, I didn't like maths, but it doesn't mean that I should just do away with math or I should just outsource math. Instead, it might mean that I have to actually learn that skill. I might have to find ways to make peace with it. But by the time you have hit your 40, you really know what you don't want. For instance, I'm not good at small talk. So if it's going to be a small talk conversation, I don't think there is much I would be able to contribute, and I would just go away from that. All right. And Wednesdays is all about what gives you energy. There are people you meet and you feel energized. Okay, there are places you go to and you feel energized. There are books you read and you feel energized. There are things you do and you feel energized. I would love to connect this to the word flow. There are things that you do and you feel energy and you just don't realize how time flies. There are so many times this has happened where I might be not feeling well, I have a headache, I'm tired, and then I start teaching, and then I'm completely lost. So I know this is something that calls me. So make sure every Wednesday, write down what are the things that give you energy. Okay, that brings us to Thursday and Friday. By the time we've hit midlife, there's a good chance that we have understood that it's not about extrinsic motivation anymore. It's things that make life meaningful. It's things that are personal and dear to us, and what is good for the world. So Thursdays and Fridays, I want you to write about what are the good things and what are the kind things that you can go do out there. Okay, anything that's good and anything that's kind, moments that you've been able to connect with others with kindness and goodness, moments where others have connected with you with goodness and kindness. Because I think the world doesn't need one more billionaire. The world needs more people who are kind, compassionate, empathetic, more people who are concerned about climate, more people who are concerned about mental health, more people who want to see a better world, not just for ourselves, but for the generations to come as well. Not just for human beings, for all beings. So if that is something, you might want to write about it. Maybe we've never thought about it, but do write it down. Okay, so you have Mondays is all about your history, what are the patterns. Okay, Tuesdays are about what you don't want to do, what you definitely don't want to do. Wednesdays are all about energy, okay, things that may energize you. These are the things you are actually willing to suffer. The meaning is to suffer. What are you willing to suffer for? Okay, so that's where the Wednesday is very important. And fourth, that is your Thursdays and Fridays, is all about goodness and kindness. And that brings us to the weekend. Go ahead and explore this in interactions. So all you're doing is just writing one page every day, and Saturdays and Sundays, you just go ahead and explore these things that you have realized. Maybe you research, maybe you talk to others. Now keep doing this for 4 weeks. I promise you, you would have some form of clarity. You would have a direction. You would know what you don't want to be doing. You would know what really brings you energy, what gives you. Okay. Stay with me for just a month. Keep doing this. End of the month, draw it. I won't say write it down, draw it. Okay. What do you see? You might draw about how you will be with your family. You might draw about what you do in your garden. You might draw about how you learn something new, how you go ahead and do that PhD, or you go ahead and teach others, how you might start an NGO, whatever it be, please draw it. Okay. Draw it and take time to just keep improving on that drawing. You bring in a lot more of your brain, your subconscious into the moment. Whenever we had done this drawing exercise in my studio, in few months, people have actually been able to see that drawing come to life. Okay, I remember, I had drawn a plane I wanted to go visit because I had not been able to travel for many years. I was literally stuck in India for quite some time, and I drew a plane, and in few months I was traveling. And I think after a long break, I traveled, and I was so happy. It just happened. Okay. So only thing is, earlier I might have been completely, blind to the opportunities of travel that had happened. But now, when it was there in my subconscious, I would easily turn to it. So at the end of the month, what I want you to do is to be able to draw. Okay. I'm just checking time. Wow, time has really flown. Okay. And so I would, is any questions? Okay, yeah. If you have any questions, please do ask me. Would love to be able to answer. So these are things I wanted to share with you. Different formats. Don't stick to just one. There are various formats out there. Go for the one that really calls to you. And then go for the journaling process where you would write Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursday, Friday, and then experience, explore, research, experiment with it on Saturdays and Sundays. And then by the end of the month, don't be in a hurry, take your time, be patient. By the end of the month, start drawing. You will have a beautiful picture coming up. And trust me, that picture is going to be your life. You would realize that you will become into a flow. It becomes easier. You become more open. You are actually more receptive to opportunities. Okay, and it starts coming from your heart, and you will find your life just turning into a life of meaning and life of purpose. And I want to end it with just this thought. It's not, a particular number to hit. It's not a particular goal to achieve. It is a journey. It is a process. Maybe after 2 years, you might have to do this process all over again to get clarity. Maybe situations change and you might find it a bit more harder, but you would find within you the strength to keep going on and on with it because it gives you happiness. Ultimately, it frees you. Okay, it takes you to the bottom right corner of the square that we were drawing out. It actually will set you free. So keep on at it, and every moment that gives you an opportunity to be happy, to see beauty in life, to be grateful, grab it. Because end of the day, this brain is designed for negativity rather than positivity. We have immense ability to be positive, but if things in a regular day, when we go to bed, good chance that we will remember what was unpleasant rather than what is pleasant, rather than what we could be grateful for. So you would need to train your brain, and with that, you would actually find life really beautiful. So if you, let me just go through the questions. I've been flowing, but I'm going to journal and try this out. Thank you. I'm just going through the commentary, so just excuse me.
Yes, Nuthan.
Yes.
Yes, Maria
Yes.
also Nuthan just asked a very interesting question. In some ways, you have already answered. What if you want to cultivate a feeling or state of serenity in your life as opposed to a specific goal? Maybe you can clarify this.
Okay, I'll elaborate. See, because I mean, the whole purpose of this talk, again, the word purpose, okay, the purpose of this talk is in case you haven't found your purpose, how to find your purpose. But if you already found your purpose, you are really blessed. You would realize that it is not a specific goal. Okay, but before you got there, there has been goals, there has been milestones. You work on it, it becomes a process. And after a while, you realize you get into the flow. Okay, the first time I decided to chuck my marketing job and shift into well-being, my heart was ready, but there was no moment of flow in my life because I was applying for jobs. I was trying to, make it sustainable, right? But eventually it clicked. It took time. And then the serenity happened. And then also this whole sense of moderation. I mean, what we spoke about in terms of the Scandinavian concept of moderation, that also happened. Too much, too less, where could I find that mid ground? And I could actually start flowing there. Likewise, is it challenging? Is it am I skilled for it? So, for instance, if I had gotten stuck at any point, suppose I often say this. While I had met the most interesting women in my weight loss classes, for me the most boring classes are the weight loss classes because weight loss is just weight loss. But the people I met were fascinating. Had I been stuck with just that, possibly my challenge level will go down. I'm skilled, but my challenge level goes down and I get bored, right? So I have to it's a constant dance. Now, suppose I kind of keep doing that, but then I realize my bank balance is not working and I have to actually help out a lot more people with, say, maybe weight loss, then I might have to do that. But since I have a direction I want to go to, okay, since I want to help more and more people find joy, find happiness, face challenges in life, maybe lose weight in the process as well, maybe sleep better in the process as well, okay, maybe find purpose in the process as well, that gives me serenity, that gets flowing. So it keeps changing. Okay. But if you haven't found it yet, initially you would have to kind of discipline yourself and kind of set goals, have that square, write it down and kind of remind yourself. You get into the flow, because maybe the first half or the first part of midlife, you really did not train yourself for that. You just trained yourself for something extrinsic, like, okay, I need to pass an exam, I need to pass this, I need to get this deal, I need to do that. That's not purpose, or that's not meaning. Meaning eventually comes. Maybe we are blessed from the beginning, maybe we've gone through pain and that's how we realized our meaning. But once you realized it, you realize it's a journey and that it's very, very simple. It's just following your heart. It's just following and staying connected with your heart. So before we just go off, I would love it if you can just close your eyes, sit comfortably, take a nice deep breath in and out. Sit comfortably, nice deep breath in and out. As you breathe in, allow the abdomen to expand. And as you breathe out, allow the abdomen to relax. Breathe in, abdomen expands. And breathe out, abdomen relaxes. Breathing in, feel that air go in through your nose. Maybe your whole body expands. And breathe out. Allow your body to relax completely. Let's go a bit deeper into relaxation. As you breathe in, become mindful of the breath going into you. Maybe the body expands, maybe the spine becomes longer. And when you breathe out, you can feel your body relax. I'll count down from 5. Continue to breathe in and out. And as I count down from 5, feel your body, your mind relaxing more and more. Maybe you go to a space in your mind, a place in your mind where you're completely relaxed. 5, I can feel my body relaxing, my mind relaxing. 4, I can feel my body going deeper into a state of relaxation. I can feel my mind becoming focused. 3, going deeper into it. 2, and 1. And I'm in my happy place, in my peaceful place. I bring to mind all those people I think are radiant, who seem to have a direction in life, who have a set of values, principles that defines them, that will define their behavior. I think of all those people who somewhere deep inside me I know wake up in the morning with a smile. I request all of them to be present with me. These could be spiritual masters. These could be family members. These could be public figures. These could be children, an animal, a tree. Sit in their energy. As you breathe in, you can feel that energy go into you. And as you breathe out, you can feel your doubts disappearing. As you breathe in, you can feel their presence, their energy, their radiance. And when you breathe out, you can feel yourself relaxing, letting go of things that don't serve you. Every breath that you take in, you continue to focus on these people, animals, trees, fictional characters, spiritual masters. Then you start drawing their energy into your brain, into your forehead. You start drawing their energy into your heart, into your chest. Continue to draw this energy. Possibly you might see them smile and you feel it in your forehead. Or possibly you feel their warmth in your heart. Or there is a fragrance about them. There's a light about them. Continue to draw that energy. Maybe the mind wanders away. It's okay. Come back. If you can identify purpose and meaning in another, you will connect with that in yourself. Because we are creatures of patterns. Money means jewel, a precious stone. Whenever there is a deficiency, whenever there is poverty, if you have a precious stone, you can change that poverty and provide. Sometimes poverty is in peace. Sometimes we realize that there is a deficiency of happiness. Sometimes we realize within us, around us, there is a deficiency of positivity, of joy, of health. Can I be a jewel, a precious stone that can take away this poverty? Om Mani Padme Hum, Padma, lotus. No mud, no lotus. The lotus blossoms only if there is mud. This life has a lot of suffering, a lot of pain, a lot of lessons, many unpleasant. But can I become a lotus which grows out and above from the mud and blossoms into the blue sky and becomes a sign of wisdom? So all the suffering, all the pain, all the confusion that you're going through, can I become a lotus? Connect back to all those people in your mind. They have become a jewel, they have become a lotus. Om Mani Padme Hum. It's a beautiful word which says that your path will lead you to your wisdom. Your path is not the same as my path, but your path will lead you to your wisdom. And your wisdom will lead you to your path. So trust in yourself, trust in the universe. Listen to your heart. body, to feel the sensations of the air around you, the textures around. Feel the breath going and out. Slowly come away from that beautiful place where you communed with those with purpose, where you thought about the jewel, the lotus, about the path that will lead you to your wisdom, and how your wisdom will lead you to your path. And gently, gently, gently open your eyes. Gently open your eyes.
Brilliant, Nuthan. Amazing.
Thank you all for spending this evening with me. I really hope that in a month's time you will find your purpose and that you start off on this beautiful journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Nuthan.
Thank you.
You have been brilliant.